Hi everyone, thanks for visiting my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Carol, the Thrifty Chic Housewife. I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel, like and share my videos, and follow me on social media. I will leave all the links in the description box below. So today we are continuing with our Christmas lineup of goodies. Today we're going to be making candied nuts. Now this was a request from you guys. You wanted to know how to make candied nuts. I think you guys requested candied pecans. Some of you requested candied walnuts. It really doesn't matter what type of nut. It's the same no matter what you're using. So use what appeals to you. I'm going to be using pecans today. Candied nuts are wonderful to have on hand for the holidays. They're great to toss in salads. You can toss them in baked goods. You can toss them in vegetables or with meat. They're just really versatile to have beautiful on a charcuterie board or just to snack on, and of course they're great for gifting. Candied nuts in general are really simple to do. I know there are a variety of methods, so this is just the way that I do it. For me, this is the simplest. This works well every time. It's pretty basic. So we just need a really nice skillet. I'm going to be using my trusty cast iron skillet. For every cup of nuts, you're going to want a tablespoon of butter, a quarter of a cup of sugar, and that can be whatever type of sugar appeals to you. I'm going to be using light brown sugar today, but you can use white sugar, you can use honey, you can use maple syrup. So whatever appeals to you for sweetener, you want about a quarter of a cup to every cup of nuts that you have. You can use whatever seasonings you like. I'm going to use just a little bit of cinnamon and some sea salt, a little touch of cayenne pepper for just a little bit of something extra, but you can use whatever seasoning you want. Some people like to use dried herbs. Rosemary tends to be really popular this time of year. You can add cumin, you can add garlic powder, onion powder, whatever appeals to you. You can use whatever seasonings you like. So I'm just going to keep mine pretty basic. At the end, I am going to add some vanilla. You guys know how I feel about vanilla, but you do whatever appeals to you. The most important part is the nuts and the sugar. So anyway, we're going to start by melting our butter, and then we're going to saute our nuts in our butter for about a minute, minute and a half, just to get them lightly toasted. Then we will go ahead and add our seasonings and a little bit of water, and we're going to let them caramelize a little bit. Remove them from the heat. We're going to put them on a parchment lined baking sheet, so make sure you have that ready to go. Just take a piece of parchment, put it on a baking sheet. You can also use foil if you prefer, but I prefer to use the parchment paper. And then once we cook them, let them caramelize for about 5 minutes, toss them on your piece of parchment, let them cool, and they're good to go. I know some people like to use egg whites. That is not necessary to do. I don't ever use it, and mine come out great. If you consult Pinterest or the internet, like I said, there's a lot of different schools of thought on making them. This is just how I do it. I do not include egg whites. I don't think that they're necessary. So I'm going to bring you in close and we're going to get started. Okay guys, I have my skillet on about a medium-high heat. I don't think I mentioned, I did say for every cup of nuts, you're going to want a quarter cup of sugar. So I'm using about a pound of pecans, which is about 4 1/3 cup of nuts. So I'm going to be using a cup of lightly packed brown sugar, and we're going to be using 4 tablespoons of butter. Let's get our butter in our pan. Okay, once you have your butter going, you can go ahead and add your nuts. The other thing to note here is you want to make sure that you use a pan that's big enough so that you have room for them to groove. I'm using a 12-inch pan for 4 cups of nuts, just as referenced. So we're just going to get those coated in butter, and we're just going to let them toast for about a minute. You don't want them to burn, so make sure you're stirring frequently. Nuts will burn quickly. So keep that in mind. Okay, once your nuts have toasted for about a minute, then you're going to add your sugar. I'm using a cup of brown sugar. We're going to let that melt into our butter. And at this point, you're going to want to turn your heat down to about a medium heat. I just turned it up to medium high to get things going. All right, we're going to let our sugar melt into our butter, and I'm going to add a couple of dashes of cinnamon. Totally optional. Again, add whatever seasonings you want. And I'm going to add just 2 little dashes of cayenne pepper for a little bit of something extra in there. The thing we need to add is a tiny bit of water. I'm going to be using about a tablespoon of water. You want about a teaspoon of water for every cup of nuts. So after you add your water, make sure you're stirring frequently and let everything caramelize for about 5 minutes. Okay guys, after 4 to 5 minutes, your nuts should be smelling nice and fragrant. They should have a nice color to them. The water should have evaporated. So we're gonna turn off our heat. We're gonna add teaspoon or 2 of vanilla. Again, that's up to you. Give it a nice stir. And then we're going to add a little bit of sea salt. The salt is optional, but that sweet salty thing together is pretty good. Love that. Give it a good mix. And then we're ready to pour it onto our parchment. Then just take your spoon and spread them out so they can cool. Okay guys, we're all done. How easy was that? Couldn't be easier, right? And then you have these delicious candied nuts. Now, a word about the water. The more water you use, the more they will be more like a glaze. The amount of water I used 1 teaspoon per cup of nuts. And mine, you can see that the sugar kind of clumps up on them instead of being a glaze. So it just kind of depends on what you want the texture of your nuts to be. But either is fine. You can double the amount of water. If you want more like a glazed nut, double the amount of water and use 2 teaspoons for every cup of nuts. But I'll make a note of that in the description box below the video so you don't forget. But anyway, all you do is let them cool, and then you can break them apart if they are together. But anyway, you can see how beautiful they are. Yum. Oh, just try to stay out of those. I dare you. Just try. So good. Like I said, perfect for salads, especially snacking, charcuterie boards, all those wonderful things. Super easy to do and perfect for gifting. So it's great for this time of year. These are going to be included in my Christmas gifting roundup. That video will be coming out later this week. So make sure you look for that. Anyway, thanks for coming along with me today, guys. I hope that this was helpful to you. Again, you can use whatever spices you like. Season them however you want to enjoy them. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.